We begin the news tonight on a rather pensive note, as President Bola Tinubu has paid tribute to the late Ayo Adebanjo, describing him as a political leader who left an indelible mark on Nigeria's history. Adebanjo's passing on Friday, February the 14th, 2025, at the age of 96, has sparked an outpouring of grief and tributes across the nation. In his tribute, President Tinubu acknowledged Adebanjo's unwavering struggles for justice, democracy, and national unity, which spanned decades. He noted that Adebanjo's principled voice, which resonated through his years of political activism, will be deeply missed. Tinubu notes, and I quote, Adebanjo's legacy as a lawyer, statesman, and politician is a testament to his remarkable life and purposeful advocacy for progress and equity. Adebanjo stood among the last of a generation of nationalists and independent heroes who shaped the foundation of Nigeria, end of quote. Meanwhile, News Central spoke with one of the late Adebanjo's sons at their Lekki residence. Let's listen in.
Well, personally, this is obviously you only lose your father one time, so this is a very unique experience for me. It's really painful. I mean, he lived a great life. He was 96. There's very little I could ask for in terms of preserving your parents. So I am thankful, but it's still a very painful loss. Well, obviously he left very big shoes to fill, and he was himself trying to fill even bigger shoes in the legacy of Chief Valentine. And I think that was his lodestar, his guidepost in terms of, he always said he wanted to be able to give good account to Chief Valentine at that time when they finally made that. He maintained their principles and their values. And that was his life course. He was in this right from his youth days as a youth leader. So the betterment of Nigeria was basically his life course beyond anything else, and up to the very last days of his life. He's everyone's father, so it's not a case of just his children trying to follow his footpath, the principles and things he stood for. So I think, yeah, there are definitely a lot of people that we come across, follow up and try and maintain that. So, I mean, we can all see the way the world is going. We pretty much don't have any choice. We have to make this happen in terms of people have to stand up and try and make sure that we, as I say, the heroes of or the struggles of our heroes past shall not be in vain.
Let's now join Pan-Yoruba progeny Akin Fatunke to share his thoughts with us on the life and times as well as legacies of Ayo Adebanjo. Thank you very much for giving us your time. What are your fondest memory of the late Ayo Adebanjo, and how will you remember him most?
My first reaction is to send my deepest condolences to Nigeria and Nigerians and the Afenifere group, even though you may look at them as being split. I saw a man that stood ramrod behind his conviction. I saw a man who believed that fair and equity should hold sway in all aspects of life, even if you came from his bowel, from his stock. I saw a man at the thresholds of taking decisions on who to stand for, decided at that point in time to stand for somebody who is a non-Yoruba because he believes that, it should be the Emilokons, from the Southeast. I'm talking about his unalloyed support for Mr. Peter Gregory Obi and his philosophy in the obedience movement. I also personally saw a man that was not going to be shaken. Yes, Like Winston Churchill, he says, yes, I supported you at one point in time. I'm talking about the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I was instrumental. What even the president has acknowledged in his tributes to him as being one of the pillars that supported him to be the Lagos State governor back at that time. But time to shift. And shift I must. I remember him particularly some years back at Archbishop Vining Memorial Church in Obakinjobi Way. It was at the funeral of the then retired Major General Adebanjo. I was going to cede my seat to him. I said, no, my boy, no, really, don't do that. That was my very first physical meeting with him. I said, no, in Yoruba land, we do respect elders. And he now then said, okay, look, if I'm going to give me your seat, this was in church. If I'm going to give you my seat, then let them put another seat at the aisle. That's how I got his number. And since then, I've had once or twice, or about 4 times, I've had to have discussions with him. Pa Adebanjo represented the cosmopolitan nature of the Yoruba race. We are not usually, in terms of being herd mentality, in support, whether it's going to be religion, or it's going to be a tribe, or it's going to be tongue. And I think, like the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has stated, Nigeria has lost a patriot. The other side of the coin, of course, usually will be his time during the action group days, allegedly, turning coats and then, letting out members of the action group, including Awolowo, at the time of that famous coup trial that we had within the First Republic.
Aki, if you could talk to us a bit about his role in shaping the Afenifere movement as it is now, and how his absence rather might impact the organization's future.
That would be a dicey comparison. His role in Afenifere, very much so that Afenifere has been split down the middle. Those who are supporting a particular side and Pa Adebanjo also now supporting the other side. But it's the reason why I said he's too ramrod and he was not going to be cajoled into closing ranks. I think his version of the Afenifere group has lost a dire voice from the Southwest. I also foresee a situation where in the traditional African and Yoruba Omoluabi setting, Papa Shon, his own Afenifere group will stretch a hand towards the other side. Like we say, once death has come in, everything now becomes a bit calm. But I see the arrowheads of those who perhaps are not in the APC camp wanting to hold sway. And in that wise, unless they are able to get somebody as solid and as strong, especially from the Southwest, I think that house, that divided house of theirs, will be shaking, my own opinion.
I mean, that's the reason. That's the reason we called you, to share your experiences and thoughts about Pa Ayo. Thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
The management of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, UNIZIK, has expelled Precious Goddy-Mbakwe, the female student who allegedly assaulted a lecturer. The details of her expulsion was communicated in a statement on Friday by Victor Modebelu, UNIZIK acting registrar, on Wednesday. Precious was captured in a video engaging in a scuffle with one of the lecturers in the theater arts department, identified as Chukwudi Okoye. Following a disciplinary hearing, the university senate found her guilty of gross misconduct. The university said her actions violated regulations 4 of the institution's students' disciplinary regulations. In a letter signed by Victor Madebelu, the acting registrar, UNIZIK directed the student to vacate the campus immediately and return any university property in her possession. Let's tell you that Nigeria's Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, says Yabatech College of Technology will be upgraded to a university status following the approval by President Bola Tinubu. The minister gave the assurance during a working visit to the institution here in Lagos. News Central's correspondent Omolola Ololade has more on this.
It was an exciting time for students, staff and management of Yabatech College of Technology as the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, assures that President Bola Tinubu has approved the conversion of Yabatech to a university.
By right, we are supposed to serve. Yes, sir!
Besides giving the assurance, the minister addresses part-time students who share their grievances on the need to serve the nation upon completion of their studies, while confidently convincing them of a positive outcome.
What you're asking for, I've had the conversation with him. I was going to wait till I got the official memo, but I can tell you now, you've all heard me hostage. You will have your university. I think people that have gone through the part-time ND program are now completed full-time HND program. You should be allowed to serve. I'm completely with you on that. I share your passion, and we will work. We're working already to resolve that quagmire.
The management and the board governing council of Yabatech expressed their conviction in making this development a reality, while emphasizing its implication for the institution.
You've had the assurance, the announcement of the assurance. So all other details will be worked out behind the scene.
That there is the potential that this place will be upgraded.
The students, despite their excitement towards the great news, call on the government to create a conducive learning environment while improving student welfare.
Earlier today, the minister met with some of our students that are demonstrating and agitating to serve and to represent their fatherland. And of course, he made mention of the fact that our request will be looked into. So we are also using this medium to call on them to look more into student welfareism in our country.
The minister highlights the importance of artificial intelligence, robotics, coding, among others, in the country's education system, as these would help stem the current trend of Japa in Nigeria. In Lagos for News Central, I am Omolola Ololade.
Coming up, Nigerians join the rest of the world to mark Valentine's Day amid economic crunch. Details of this and more in a moment. SMB Intelligence says 85.6% of Nigerians plan to celebrate Valentine's Day, despite the fact that the country is facing an economic downturn. News Central's business correspondent, Nnamdi Azikiwe, speaks to Nigerians and business owners on the economics of love.
You and many of you will respond with a humble, "Oh, it's a lovely day to celebrate love." But you see, for businesses, it means money. Gone are the days when a simple "I love you" would suffice. Today, Valentine's Day is all about heart-shaped chocolates, red roses, and good food, becoming one of the most commercialized businesses in the world, generating billions of dollars yearly. This year's Valentine's Day will be marked under severe economic pressures as the prices of goods and services have more than doubled. Today, the hearts of Nigerians are racing, but is it out of love or financial pressures?
I think we've actually overemphasized the place of money in when it comes to partner relationship and what have you. But I feel like my own advice is just do what you can with what you have.
Depending on how they understand each other. Spending money is depending on the girl might got money enough to spend for the man or his boyfriend, or a boy got money to spend for the girl. It's all about money, but it's still possible to have it without spending money.
It seems there's no love lost on the streets of Lagos. We have young men who are more than willing to show their loves to their partners, but unfortunately, they're still single and searching. However, can the saying, "no romance without finance," truly be defied. A survey conducted by SBM Intelligence revealed that Nigerians are planning to spend big money to make their partners happy. The survey, which was conducted in Lagos, Abuja and Port Harcourt, revealed that 85.6% of respondents plan to celebrate Valentine's Day, a sharp increase from 62.8% in 2024. According to the survey, 33% of their respondents were planning to spend between 51,000 naira to 100,000, 17% 101,000 to 200,000 naira, 11.7% 201,000 to 500,000 naira, and less than 5% have a budget of 500,000 naira and over. No heartbreaks for gift connoisseur Eloho Edisi, who says that despite the poor state of the economy, Nigerians still push to patronize her.
Really, we found a way to just adjust our prices and make it affordable for every Nigerian that wants to afford our products. So we can't actually say last year was better than this year. No, Nigerians are happy people, so they always find a way to just make things work, irrespective of the inflation that's going on in the country. Actually, we majorly import fresh flowers, but at times we source from Jos and some countries nearby like Ghana, and we also import.
Psychologist and customer seductress Folake Agumbiade delves into the psychology behind consumer spending and how can businesses fully maximize the opportunities that comes with the lover's holiday.
For an average person, there is an economic, a social, and a cultural pressure around Valentine and a show of affluence around love. Valentine's Day is a huge cash cow for businesses that transact in emotional connections. You present your brand as experiential in a way where whatever service or product that you're selling can contribute to the atmosphere of what is called doing love.
Valentine's Day comes with its own financial expectations. Remember that there is always a cheaper way to show your partner love without having to break the bank. You just need to be creative. In Lagos, reporting for News Central, I am Chamun Dabeng. Have a splendid Valentine's Day.
In a significant move to boost mobility and economic empowerment in Nigeria, the Consumer Credit Corporation, Creditcorp, has launched the Federal Government Mobility Support Fund. The initiative aims to provide credit-backed financing for Nigerians to acquire locally manufactured tricycles and motorcycles. News Central's Chidimma Ona brings us the details.
Dawn of hope and opportunity as the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, in collaboration with key partners, officially launches the Mobility Support Fund. The initiative aims to bridge the gap in vehicle financing, enabling Nigerians to acquire motorcycles and tricycles through structured credit-backed financing. The event saw the official presentation of locally assembled tricycles and motorcycles to beneficiaries.
Today, what you are witnessing is the component of our work at Creditcorp. Creditcorp is a Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation. The component of our work that has to do with enabling local industry by channeling credit-backed consumers, meaning channeling Nigerians that have received consumer credits from Creditcorp to buy locally manufactured, locally assembled goods and services. So what you see today is the first set of beneficiaries, or the start of beneficiaries who have gotten credits, and that credit is used for the purchase of locally assembled automobiles. Why is this important? Because consumer credit at its core is about giving you a higher quality of life.
There is ample capacity within our industry and in our factory, which you have seen, you're right here, to produce much more. In fact, we were doing maybe 3 times the amount we are doing today. But then because of the situation, it has gone down. However, I'm very confident that with this new intervention of the government, this is going to be a game changer.
Because when you have a tricycle, you are not only empowering, or you are not only providing something, a mobility for someone, you are empowering people. That when you own one of these, you are building your family, you are supporting your community, and you are building your career. It means it's go beyond investing in one. When you buy one, you are doing a lot of things, you are doing a lot of goods to the economy.
Speaking with some beneficiaries, they expressed their gratitude for the scheme, highlighting their enthusiasm to utilize it for commercial transportation and business growth.
For the past years now, this is what I've been doing, and I've been in transport business for the past years, and this is the only thing I know. This is what I used to feed myself and my family and people around me. So I'm really, really excited to be the part of the beneficiary today.
I did a lot in my life because this is the keke that I used to feed my family, brothers and sisters. So, and I really appreciate Credit Corps for the support they did for us as a youth.
The launch of the Mobility Support Fund marks the beginning of many empowerment programs to come, providing sustainable solutions for Nigerians in the transport sector. In Lagos, reporting for News Central, I am Chidimma Ona.
Nigeria's National Petroleum Company Limited says that it is partnering with the nation's northern film industry, also known as Kannywood, to help champion its campaign against pipeline vandalism. The NNPC Limited, while meeting with industry players from the industry in Abuja, says that the pipeline vandalism has reached an all-time high, thus the need for a more pragmatic approach to tackling it. Amadine Uyi tells us more.
Kannywood, an informal name for the Hausa language cinema, is the film industry of northern Nigeria with its headquarters based in Kano State. With the reach of Kannywood penetrating across not just 19 states of Nigeria's northern region, but across several countries in Africa, its importance as a formidable partner in effective information dissemination cannot be overemphasized. With this in mind, Nigeria's National Petroleum Company Limited is extending a hand of fellowship to players in the industry to support its enlightenment campaign against oil theft and pipeline vandalism.
Kannywood plays a vital role in shaping the opinion of the people, especially in the northern part of our great country, Nigeria. The NNPC Limited belongs to all Nigerians, as you are aware, including members of the Kannywood. So it is crucial for the Kannywood community to have an interest in knowing how we run our businesses and operations. It is in this role as a commercial entity that NNPC Limited deems it necessary to hold this engagement so as to share ideas on how to move the nation's oil and gas industry forward.
Kannywood is one of the very veritable stakeholders in the north, the entertainment industry, and they have a lot of followership. So for whatever you do, Kannywood is one of the key things when you want to reach the northern, the three geopolitical zones in the north.
The NNPC Limited says challenges affecting oil infrastructure has reached an all-time high.
As of today, we discovered over 6,000 illegal connections on our major pipeline system. Each of these illegal connections is stealing crude oil.
The NNPC Limited says that it is hoping that this partnership can help extend its enlightenment campaign across the north, reaching millions of citizens under dangers of vandalizing their nation's oil assets. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
The 38th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union is set to open in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The summit, scheduled for February the 15th to the 16th of 2025, will bring together heads of states and government from across the continent to discuss pressing issues and set policy priorities for the coming year. This year's summit, themed Justice for Africa Through Reparation, focuses on redressing historical injustices and promoting equitable frameworks for development and accountability. The summit will also feature the election of new leadership for the African Union Commission, including the chairperson, deputy chairperson, and 6 commissioners. Top on the agenda of the summit is the ongoing crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which has since crept into neighboring nations. Let's discuss this now with African Affairs analyst Achike Chude. Thank you for giving us your time.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I just wanted to confirm that your audio was working well. What would be for you the key priorities and expectations for the 38th AU Summit?
Yeah, well, I think the ECOWAS would be concentrating on how to advance the continent forward. I mean, look at the crisis of governance all over the continent, the conflicts that you have in some places. And so I think that they want to see if there's any way that they can advance the interest of their peoples across the continent, especially when it comes to issues of economic growth. That has continued to be a problem, in the continent among the member countries, and that has been very difficult. Of course, in some of these places, you have, crisis. You just talked about what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Then there's the issue of Sudan. And I don't know how much space the issue of military coups in West Africa, especially, would occupy in this summit. But I think that they'll be talking about all of this. So I think that the discussions will hover around them, how to solve some of the crises, especially the DRC, and then at the same time look for ways to improve on the economic development, reduction of poverty, healthcare, all of this, and then of course agriculture, how they can boost their fellow countries in these directions to see whether they can actually be more productive. These are issues. Of course, don't forget that Africa, when it comes to global productivity, Africa's input, to the global arena in terms of productivity is just about 2 to 3%, very abysmal.
All right, let's look at the theme for this year. I'm picking that up specifically because of the conversation around this Africa's reparation crusade, so to speak. There was some controversy late last year, at the UN General Assembly. What are your thoughts about the AU's chosen theme for this year's summit? And what would be, the goal for the theme?
Well, obviously, they have been talking about reparation for some time. And what reparation means is, especially in financial terms, is that Africa needs money for years of injustices, colonial subjugation and all that. And they feel that, the situation of Africa today was caused primarily by issues of colonialism, issues of slavery, the transatlantic slavery, the Saharan and slavery. So these are the things I think that they're looking at and they're trying to see what kind of benefits they will derive from that. The issue of reparation has been going on for quite some time, muted to a very large extent. I think it was Nigeria's late Kashimawo Abiola that first brought the issue of reparation to the international spotlight. But obviously, the developed countries of the world who should be bearing the brunt when it comes to issues of reparation are very reluctant to touch it. So I think that that's going to be a tall order for Africa to even get to that level where they can actually begin to get a reparation. Don't forget that at the level of even the climate change, Africa is also making a case for monies.
So many issues to tackle, but of course the time is limited. I really would like to talk a little more about the talk around reparation, but we don't have much time. I will, however, ask you about the election and the appointment of the AU Commission Chairperson, Deputy, as well as members of the Peace and Security Council, which is expected. What are your thoughts on who these might be and what should be the chairperson's key priority once confirmed? I'm sure you know some of the candidates, one name in particular.
Yeah, obviously there's one name that people have been talking about. I think he suffers the issue of age. He's 80. You're talking about Raila Odinga. But in terms of exposure, in terms of visibility, he's more visible and the people are talking more about him. And I think that he has the capacity to emerge as chairman of the commission. He has the wealth of experience. And the others are not so much. And so I think that he's going to take it. I think he was going to emerge, winner. He's done a lot of homework in that sense. And like I said, he's been able to speak with a lot of people. I think he's done much more and he's been much more visible. And I think has the capacity also for the job, apart regardless of the fact that he's about 80 years old, which could be a slight disadvantage. But regardless of that, I think that he is ahead of others.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking with us. I'm sure we will know in the next, at most 48 hours, who the next chairperson will be. Thank you for your time again.
It's my pleasure, Felix.
Reports from the Vatican reveal that Pope Francis has been hospitalized to receive treatment for a persistent bout of bronchitis and undergo diagnostic tests. This latest health setback has forced the pontiff to cancel his schedule through at least Monday. Francis had been experiencing breathing difficulties and was diagnosed with bronchitis on February the 6th. Despite his condition, he continued to hold daily audiences from his Vatican hotel suite with some adjustments, though. The Pope had been handing off his speeches to an aide to read aloud, citing trouble breathing. On Friday, the pontiff reportedly showed a pale appearance and struggled to speak for extended periods due to breathing difficulties before being hospitalized. Business News is next after this timeout. Adebola is here with us with the latest business update. Adebola, over to you.
Yes, for business, we've seen 4 agencies under the marine and blue economy. The sector generated $850.3 billion in 2024. I'll tell you more shortly. Stay with us. The 4 agencies under the marine and blue economy sector generated 850.3 billion naira in 2024, reflecting a 77% increase from the previous year. Now, the agencies NAMASA, NPA, NSC, and NIWA significantly ramped up revenue, with NPA leading at 758.2 billion naira, while Nigeria's Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adebanjo, highlighted efforts to enhance port efficiency, develop Nigeria's blue economy strategy, and then establish a national carrier via PPP. He also assured transparency in the disbursement of cabotage visa financing fund while strengthening marine security with a Deep Blue Sea project. And crude oil prices edged lower on Friday as hopes for a Russia-Ukraine peace deal raised the possibility of lifting sanctions on Moscow, potentially easing global supply disruptions. Brent crude fell by 0.03% to $75 per barrel, while WTI declined by 0.39% to $71.01. Now, while U.S. tariff delays provided some relief, concerns remained over Iran-related economic pressure and sustained Russian exports despite sanctions. Global oil demand reached 103.4 billion PBD, according to J.P. Morgan, with analysts monitoring upcoming trade policies and geopolitical shifts for further market directions. And now for the all share index, there was a dip by minus 1.02%, to close at about 108,049.47 points. And then the market capitalization also decreased, closing at 67.42 trillion naira. And now, like you can see for the sectoral section where you have the snapshot there, there were 5 sectors we had. They will track closely that show that, the red territory were all there turning and making investments. Now the banking sector lost in that regard when it comes to change at minus 0.3 0.73%, and also there was a dip in oil and gas sector, and also for the consumer goods. But we saw an increase regarding insurance and industrial goods. For insurance, there was plus 0.29%, increase there in insurance sector, and for the industrial goods, there was also an increase of plus 0.76% change. There you have it for the industrial goods. And that's all for business news tonight.
Sports news is next with Tunde Koiki. Hi, Tunde.
Hi, Felicity. How good is your Russian? Because the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be heading to Russia pretty soon for international friendly. Now, don't forget, Russia has been banned from international football for quite a while. I'll be talking about all that and much more after the break. Hello and welcome to sports. Russia has announced plans for a friendly match against Nigeria Super Eagles on June the 6th. Now, this comes as part of Russia's 3-game schedule of international friendlies, which also includes matches against Zambia in March and Belarus on the 10th of June. Nigeria currently ranked 44th in FIFA rankings and fresh off their runner-up finish at the Africa Cup of Nations will face Russia in what is being called a home game for the Russians. However, the exact venue and time are still to be determined. Russia remains under FIFA and UEFA suspension following their 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Despite this ban, they continue to arrange non-FIFA sanctioned friendlies, having played against several nations in recent months. The Nigeria Football Federation has yet to confirm this arrangement. And back home in Nigeria, 9-time Nigeria Premier Football League champions Enyimba will be looking to bounce back to winning ways when they host Rivers United in Aba in the pick of this weekend's matches. Enyimba have been struggling for consistency, losing their last 2 matches and recording just 1 win in their last 5 games. They currently sit in 10th place and will be hoping to get back to winning ways and derail 3rd place Rivers United's title charge. In other fixtures, Kano Pillars will take on Abia Warriors. It's Kwara United versus Bayelsa United. Lobby Stars will also entertain Katsina United. El Kanemi Warriors will be guests of Plateau United, and Nasarawa United will also face Ikorodu City. Other games to look forward to as well. We'll see Enugu Rangers entertain Remo Stars in a interesting game. Sunshine Stars will also battle Akwa United. It's Heartland versus Shooting Stars, while Bendel Insurance will entertain Niger Tornadoes. Former Super Eagles coach Jose Peseiro has been named as the new manager of Egyptian giants Zamalek 1 week before the Cairo derby against Al Ahly. Peseiro arrived in Cairo on Thursday to sign a 1.5-year contract. The move marks Zamalek's 2nd coaching change of the season after Christopher Gross was replaced, who replaced Portuguese manager Jose Gomes in December 2024, departs after just 2 months in charge, leaving the team 3rd in the Egyptian Premier League with 26 points from 13 matches. Peseiro was in charge of the Super Eagles for 2 years, leading them to a runner-up spot at the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations. And after the tournament, he was decorated with the prestigious Member of the Order of Niger honor by President Tinubu. His first task as Zamalek's head coach will be Sunday's Egyptian Premier League clash against 10th place Petrojet. To some table tennis now. Nigeria's table tennis legend Offiong Edem has joined the Lone Star Table Tennis Academy in Austin, Texas as a coach. The 5-time Olympian retired after the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, concluding an illustrious career that saw her represent Nigeria at multiple international tournaments. The former African champion's transition to coaching marks a new chapter in her career as she brings her wealth of knowledge to the next generation of players. And finally, world number 2 Iga Swiatek's run in Doha has come to an end. The 3-time defending champion was defeated in the semi-finals by Latvia's Jelena Ostapenko in a commanding 6-3, 6-1 performance. Now, this marks Ostapenko's 5th straight victory over Swiatek, making her the first player to achieve such a record against the Polish star. The loss ends Swiatek's impressive 15-match winning streak at the Qatar Open, which dated back to 2022. Ostapenko, the 2017 French Open champion, will now compete for her 9th career title in tomorrow's final, and she will face American Amanda Anisimova.
Adewo joins me now for some entertainment reports. Adewo, what do I hear about, Two-Face missing?
Well, the report came out today and people were quite confused, seeing the fact that it's coming from his family. And, recently we just heard him, he was all over the news about his proposal and everything, and this now. So it's quite disturbing, if I should say. But I'll give you more details on that as it happens. All right, now on entertainment now. The family of Nigerian music legend 2Baba has declared him missing after he was last seen leaving his home on February 10th in a loungewear. Attempts to contact him have failed, and strange messages from his social media accounts requesting money have raised concerns of foul play. Now this comes after his mother, Rose Idibia, made a public plea accusing Edo lawmaker Natasha Osawaru of exerting undue influence over her son, even claiming she used fetish beads to control him as well. Now, the family has sought help from the DSS. The situation has sparked debate online, with some expressing concern for 2Baba's well-being, while others believe he's capable of making his own choices. Now, the search for him still continues. It's quite an interesting situation there, if it's actually to say.
I personally want to believe, I hope that's all it is, that he needed a break from it all. I sincerely hope that's all it is, because we've never heard this kind of information about, he has controversy, but him going missing, that's worrisome.
Well, we're hoping for the best, that maybe he just decided to take time
Take
off.
a break, that's what I think.
Yeah. All right, now let's move on to some big win for Afrobeat, as Nigerian superstar Burna Boy has made history as the first ever cover star of Billboard France. Now, the feature celebrates the rise from Port Harcourt to selling out stadiums globally and highlights his recent record-breaking performance as the first non-Francophone African artist to headline Stade de France in 2025. With over 7 billion streams, a Grammy win, and a unique Afrofusion sound, Burna Boy continues to elevate African music. This milestone further solidifies his status as a global music powerhouse, just as fans eagerly await his upcoming album, No Sign for Weakness. And as we can say, I think Burna Boy is showing us there, no weakness, always making Africa proud.
I'm proud of him too. I mean, we'll claim him.
Oh, good. He's our own. We'll take it. That's all on entertainment tonight.
And that's the news tonight. But before we go, here's a reminder of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu mourns Afenifere chieftain Ayo Adebanjo, describes him as committed nationalist and hero. Following disciplinary hearing, Nnamdi Azikiwe University expels female student for allegedly assaulting lecturer. African leaders converge on Addis Ababa ahead of 38th ordinary session of the AU Assembly. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, on Abo TV and on YouTube. Many thanks as always for watching. Have a good night.